To the newest episode of Awful, Okay, Awesome, the show that is about stories of trials and tribulations turned into passion and purpose through persistence and perseverance. As you can see, we love alliteration here. This episode is brought to you by Black Aswad Coffee. Black Aswad is the brand that's redefining your morning ritual with rich, bold flavors and a commitment to mental wellness. If you're looking for a coffee that fuels both body and mind, Black Aswad is your go-to. Learn more at www.blackaswadcoffeeco.com. Thanks for being here. You are the face of your brand. Even though you've maybe reached multi six figures and seven figure levels, you are the face of your brand, like I said. And when people think of your brand or your business name, they think you. And you've got all the experts. Perhaps you already have a marketing team who says to you, your audience wants to see more of you. You got to show up online. We got to get your picture. We've got to get you on video. We've got to get some inspiring messages from you, but it terrifies you. And I have had coaching clients who actually knew exactly what to do because I've given them my minimalist method that converts, but they would freeze up when it comes to showing up online. They were so, and first I want to explore with you the reasons why you might be freezing up, because you might not even have ever had the privilege to, or the downtime to really look at yourself and go, why do I have this fear? Why am I so terrified to show up online? And even though, I'm the CEO of a marketing agency, I am also a certified life coach, right? I just get jazzed up on mindset. Mindset is one of my favorite things to read about, that and energy, and, about God and the universe and the everlasting abundance. So I'm going to talk to you about a mindset. And likely the reason that you are so terrified to show up online is because you have ingrained in you some beliefs that come from your childhood. Maybe you had a really perfectionist parent who expected you to be gosh darn near perfect and was very critical of you if you weren't and let you know. Now, of course, there's no judgment on that and that individual, because when you judge others, you know that you're creating a block within yourself and negativity within yourself that doesn't really serve you. Hurt people, and likely giving everybody the benefit of the doubt, which is what I love to do, and I love to surround myself with people who give the benefit of the doubt. Likely this person was doing it out of love. They felt that that was good parenting, or maybe you had a coach, or maybe you had a teacher. Again, they thought that that's what they needed to do in order to shape you into being the best that you are, right? And they kind of forgot the element of telling you it's okay if you screw up. It's okay to be imperfect, right? I always kind of joke because, yeah, I would say I had some critical parenting growing up, but at the same time, my parents were very they were big on words of affirmation. They were always, and at least, with me, I have 4 siblings. They were big on telling us how, smart we were and how beautiful we were and how talented we were and, what a gift from God we were. So it kind of evened out with that critical. And also because they had a lot of kids and because they were immigrant parents, we kind of figured out a lot of stuff on our own because they were busy, working and being the amazing people that they were. And so that I find that myself and all of my siblings, we just kind of show up. We're just there. We'll just infiltrate in any conversation, and yeah, we'll just get on camera and video, and hopefully we're good here with the internet connection. I'm experiencing a lot of technical difficulties today, so I apologize. So for you, I would love for you to explore, and I would love for you to share with me in the comments if you're watching live on a platform that allows you to comment or a replay, everyone. I would love for you to share with me what is the reason that you think that if you're someone experiencing this insecurity, where do you think it comes from? And I've asked clients this before, and I have been told, like, oh, I think it came from, let's say, my mom, who was overly critical of me and still is, and so I kind of hear her in the back of my mind. So what are some things that you can do to deprogram that from your being? And I again, I'm not actually like a licensed psychologist or a certified hypnotherapist or tapping expert, but I am, a certified life coach, and these were some of the modalities that in my studies I've been able to experience and also share with my coaching clients. And so, here are some things that you can do. Number one is, it's easy for me to tell you exposure therapy if we haven't healed the trauma prior to it. Like, you probably can't even bring yourself to just do the exposure therapy. And what's exposure therapy? We'll go into that. If you haven't healed the trauma, right? And so I've had individuals that I love dearly in my life who have had significant fears and anxiety in their lives. And sometimes, honestly, they're just born with them, or there's something that happened as a baby that I can't really decipher. And exposure therapy was successful, but that only occurs when the individual is not open to the healing of the trauma. Like, they find that to be too difficult for them, because a lot of times the healing of the trauma does require you to revisit the events that could have occurred, that could have created these fears within you. So what I invite you to do is, we're going to do 3 steps. Number 1 step is, I would invite for you to write down your goals in a journal of, what do you hope to get out of going live or showing up with a post online? What do you hope to get? And what would you love the response to be to you showing up online? And again, I've had clients who came to me who could not even share a post because they were so afraid that, like, they were brought up with the environment, not even to think that if somebody was successful in the family, that they had to provide for everybody else. And if they didn't provide for everybody else, they'd kind of be like outcasted, right? They would kind of be just put off to the side and be looked at as a jerk for not providing for everyone else and not being overly generous with things that they earned themselves, I guess. And so, we were able to explore that belief and how small thinking that is, really. And by working together, she was able to then eventually show up online by doing these steps. So first, explore, like, why is this important to you? Why do you want to do this? Right? Because if you don't want to do it, then, hire a marketing agency with a built-in spokesperson like myself. I go and I do webinars for our clients very often, or go in and I represent them at events as a spokesperson very often, because either they're too busy or they just doesn't light them up to show up in front of other people. And I'm game. I love it. So I'll just do that for our marketing agency clients. I'm kind of like I'm their CMO, so I'm their built-in spokesperson. And I wholeheartedly believe in the brands that I work with, because they're holistic wellness experts who love to heal. So if this is truly something that you want, right, then let's do some journaling of, what are you afraid of will happen if you show up online, right? And maybe you're afraid that the people you went to high school with, let's say, who have nothing to do with your income and your success, would be overly critical of you showing up. And guys, I've heard it all. I've had my closest friends tell me that what I'm doing is weird and they don't get it. I've had moms that were on committees with me say that, like, I was full of shit, and everything that I was doing, like, I was so full of it, I was lying. It's all a lie. And meanwhile, then, nearly maybe weeks or months after, I'd be receiving texts from the same individuals asking for connections regarding projects that they wanted help with. And so I'm not here to tell you that that's not true, but I'm here to tell you, and this is one of my favorite quotes, that everybody has an opinion, and and opinions are like assholes and they're not necessarily pretty. And also, other people's opinions of you are none of your business because they are formed based on their own stories, on their own trauma response, on their own fears, on their own paths and journeys and the healing that they need to do. And I am still almost often flabbergasted when I find that I'm just like showing up, doing what I'm trying to do, provide for my family, be successful, go for my dreams and goals, and somebody says something really awful about me and it gets back to me. And I'm just always caught off guard because it's like, oh my gosh, that's right. Not the whole world knows that God's abundance is everlasting and that it's just more helpful for the entire world in itself if we all just come from a place of love and acceptance and trying to see things from other people's perspective rather than judgment and fear and hate and gossip, right? So I know that's easier said than done though. So just kind of write down in your journal all the thoughts that come up of all the things that you're afraid will happen for you if you show up online, like on a live video or on a post or an e-blast or SEO, which is, or a blog post, which is all the things that we do for our clients in our marketing agency. We do all the writing, all the graphics, all the photography for it, right? I want you to explore that because then you take those thoughts. And guys, again, I am not a tapping expert. If any of you are tapping experts, I want you to weigh in and tell me if I'm doing this right. I highly recommend a book called Tapping into Wealth. And but this is all kind of based on tapping, which is a little bit in sync with the acupuncture points, right? So there's different tapping points. You don't have to tap them all. And you certainly don't have to do it perfectly in order for it to work. That's the beauty of it. We could get to be imperfectly us. So there's different tapping points. Okay, and I'm going to talk you through this. So there's this, and I might be missing some, by the way. There's this, top of the head, between the eyebrows, underneath the eyes. I don't know why this is one of my favorites. It's like calms me right down. This, 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 this. It's underneath the breast, underneath the armpit. Gently, guys. And I'd be doing this with my hypnotherapist. One of my coaches and mentors is Rebecca Wiener McGregor, and she'd be, instructing me to tap. She'd be like, be a little gentler. I'm like, even when I don't know about you, but even if I do Pilates or do pelvic health, the experts are like, you're doing this like too hard. I'm a doer. I go for it. So just be gentle with yourself. And you're gonna, if this is too confusing to go through all the points while you're saying this script, then you could just pick one point and you can kind of think about that. All right, think about maybe that first thing that would pop up in your journal of what you think will happen or what people will think when you go live. And that can be your first element that you work on, right? And then you kind of want to explore, where am I feeling this pressure whenever I think about this reaction from people? I feel this tightness in my throat. Maybe I feel it in my belly. Maybe for you, it's like a weight on your shoulder. Maybe it's pressure on your chest. So you can kind of pick that point to tap. So let's say it's a pressure on your chest. I don't even know if this is a tapping point, but it works for me. And it could work for you. And you were going to say, let me think of something here. This is something that could come up for you too. Perhaps you've worked with clients who haven't had ideal results and they've given you negative reviews. So now every time that you go to show up online, you feel like a fraud. You feel like they're looking at your stuff and they're going, that's not true. I didn't have that experience. And I just want to remind you that, nothing is guaranteed. Don't ever guarantee your work, right? You can't heal everybody, right? Be as vocal, informative, and educational as you can in your content prior for the client coming in to diminish the chances that this particular client is going to be a good fit. All right, so let's say that happened. Even though I feel like when I show up online, so and so is looking at my content and thinking that I'm a fraud, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. This feeling of the pressure on my chest that comes up when I think so and so is looking at my stuff online and judging me, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. And guys, I kid you not, this works. Stuff comes up for me too. I'll be ruminating over and over and over and over these scenarios that I'm making up in my mind. And they could very well be true. People could very well be thinking this stuff about you, as I've already said. But it's about you having 100% self-acceptance regardless of the outside circumstances. That's the key. Self-love, self-peace, right? Internal peace. And I'm telling you, just keep doing this until the volume is like all the way up to, you turn it down a little bit. All right. And what also helps, this is my last tip. And before I go into my last tip, guys, today's Zoom wouldn't work for me. So I'm doing this live video straight from the Facebook interface. And I am wondering if I can share my screen on this. I know there's ways to do it. So that way I can share with you something that I really wanted to share with you. We'll do it another time.
Interrupt this episode, but I just wanted to remind you that this episode is brought to you by Black Oswald Coffee. It's seriously smooth. It's the kind of coffee that keeps you focused and grounded. And if you haven't tried it yet, what are you waiting for? Now enjoy the rest of the show.
So we'll just go right into this last point. The last point is to do some visualization. That which you focus on expands. And so if your mind keeps going to worst case scenarios, you're going to encourage yourself to think of the best case scenarios. Yeah, thanks for sharing that, brain. But what could also be true is that there could be a plethora of other people who love what I have to say and whose lives I'm changing, which that's what my clients are experiencing. They're being stopped on the street and people are going, "You are so-and-so? I love your stuff. I follow it online. I can literally hear your voice when this and this happened. I want to thank you for sharing this message with me because it empowered me and encouraged me to do this and this and this. Thank you." Even if they never become clients, think of what an active service you're doing to your community by simply sharing your truth. So you can do some visualizations and literally in your mind picture that as somebody's seeing your post or somebody's watching your live or a replay of a video, that they are in tears with how amazing they feel about what you have to say. And do that over and over again, and actually that will programs your brain to believe it's actually happening, and it gives your brain proof that that's the reality, because it is very well the reality, right? There's pros and cons. And then of course there's exposure therapy. The more that you stretch a muscle and do things that you are uncomfortable with, the more that you are going to become comfortable with it. Think about physical exercise, right? If you just start running, it's hard as heck on your lungs, right? If you're not a runner. Like, I'm not a runner, and just when we are about to miss the bus a million times a year, I'm like death by the time I get to that bus stop, if we're about to miss it and the bus is pulling up with the kids. But it's a lot of fun too. Or you go to lift weights. First you start with 5ers maybe if you don't do any strength training, and eventually you're able to do 50, right? So you're stretching that muscle of exposure therapy internally as well. And I invite you to start with, if you're not comfortable just showing up by yourself online, perhaps show up as a guest with someone who's super confident. Like on a show like ours, if you're an expert in the holistic wellness industry who's reached the multi-6 figures already, I'd love for you to be a guest. But someone who's confident will make you laugh and have a good time, right? And you're just having so much fun doing it. And then you're teaching your brain it's okay to show up and go live. And then you're seeing all these comments from all these people, and they're reaching out to you wanting to be a client because they've seen you on a show. Your brain is learning, oh, it's actually pretty awesome to show up online. Or I have a Facebook group called Female Millionaire Moguls in the Making on Facebook. You can ask to join. We invite female entrepreneurs to go live in there as much as they want. It's a safe, private space, non-judgmental. where women lift each other up. You can go live for literally a second and go, hi guys, I'm just trying to go live because I'm terrified about going live and I just needed to do this to help myself. Bye. And we'll be like, yes, you did it. We're cheering you on. Or you can set your settings on Facebook to private. So like maybe only your best friend can see your upcoming posts. Go live on there, or your mom, or whoever you're comfortable with. Maybe for you, your best friend or your mom is like the worst case scenario. You know, it could just be that only you can see it. Right? You could set your settings on Facebook for your upcoming post that only you can see it and go live. Or you could have a coach like someone like me who will sit there with you and we'll write content together. And then it's kind of like you're not taking full ownership of it. Like, hey, my coach wrote this with me. So it's not just me showing up alone. And then, you know, have someone like me who is your coach or your marketing expert. And then you have an entire team, my marketing team, who's just loving up on all your content and saying how amazing you are. And your clients love you. You know that. They come in to see you because of you. And again, that's why maybe you've been encouraged to show up online. And so you're going to see people come out of the woodwork, like go crazy for you, like you're Madonna. Or if Madonna is not your thing, like you're like Coldplay. That's my favorite band. I was going to say Taylor Swift, but no hate on Taylor Swift, but my favorite is Coldplay. So those are just some suggestions that I have for you if you've been afraid to show up online. And of course, if you're really afraid to show up online and you're at the multi-six, almost the cusp of 7 figures, reach out to me, Marta Saray Greco, on any platform. I will be happy to be your spokesperson for, and in fact, right before this, I was recording a reel for a brand, a jewelry brand. Actually, I'm wearing them right now. Harold and Hazel. And after this, I'll be recording some videos for a nonprofit organization to encourage others to donate. And then there's also my marketing clients, for which I am a CMO, that again, we'll organize the entire event for them. They can't make it, I'll go in, I'll be the spokesperson at the event for them. Or we have a virtual summit, I'll show up and be a speaker at the virtual summit to add value to their event, or I'll be the MC. If you're not comfortable and you're at that level, there you go. If you're not at that level yet, you just want someone to come alongside you and help you through this, that's one of the things I help with my coaching programs. All right, guys, I cannot wait to continue on this journey with you. Keep watching the show. I am so thankful that you're here. It is produced by Media the Creative Agency. If you're listening on your favorite podcast platform, please don't forget to leave us a 5-star review and a really awesome, glowing commentary, and subscribe to our show. Same with if you're watching on YouTube, please leave a comment, give us a thumbs up, subscribe, and anywhere that you're watching or listening to this, I really appreciate your feedback. And please just leave us a 5-star review, awesome comments, and subscribe, because that's what helps us get our message out there more and more, which is one of our goals that we could use your help with. Bye, everyone.
Before we fully wrap up, I just wanted to remind you and give a final shout out to our sponsor, Black Oswald Coffee Co. Elevate your coffee experience with ethically sourced beans that taste amazing and support mental wellness. Grab your bag today at www.blackoswaldcoffeeco.com and use code AWESOME15 for an exclusive offer.